Starting August 31st, 2023, you will not be able to send out a new text unless you create a carrier compliant process. Carriers are launching what's called A2P10 DLC, which is forever going to change the way the Wild West and SMS marketing is played. So if you're a scammer, you're f***ed. But if you're a legit business, this really isn't that horrible, because the carrier's goal is to regulate who is actually sending the text and not just completely wipe it off the face of the planet. And now SMS is our #1 performing lead channel, where we'll do way over $2 million just this year alone with SMS. So I've spent a significant amount of time trying to figure out how to keep this channel alive. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you what I've learned about A2P10 DLC and just really how we can go about adapting to these changes. And in reality, this channel is about growing and scaling your wholesale company. So that's all we're going to be focused on here. But one, to do that, you need to be informed about what's actually happening. So I'm going to go over all the different things that I know about this. And one more thing before I forget is these changes that are happening at the end of August have been in the works for the last 6 months at least. So there's really nothing changing in the short term, but these short-term changes will have long-term effects. So the goal of A2P10 DLC is actually to monitor who is sending text, what is being sent, and to monitor the opt-in compliance. And so that means SMS follow-up campaigns in your CRM are 100% safe as long as you have an opt-in compliant process. But what isn't safe is going to be bulk cold texting with platforms such as Launch Control. Now, to continue texting, we need to become a verified sender. And you're going to do this on the actual platform you use to make calls or text. And essentially what you're saying by becoming a verified sender is you're saying that this is my entity and this is my group of phone numbers who are going to be responsible for sending this message to this group of people, right? So in English, that basically just means we're going to take this group of phone numbers and we're going to send text to these sellers as a follow-up campaign. That's essentially what that's saying. And then assuming that this campaign is valid, the carriers will either approve you or deny you. And if you're denied, all you need to do is just ask support for help on this. And there's always a solution, and then that can get you reapproved. A couple of the major reasons where you may not be approved is because on your website, your LLC may not be mentioned any single place. So make sure that's done. Or on your Facebook page, you may not have any activity or post or even a page in general. And finally, on your website, there may not be any text message opt-in language, preventing people from being able to opt into your messaging in the first place. So once you're classified as a verified sender, you have to get a campaign approved that can actually be sent out alongside of you. Most everyone has about 2 types of campaigns. One is called a mixed use campaign. And this is basically just you and sellers talking back and forth, having a conversation, setting up calls, whatever it might be. The other campaign is considered a marketing campaign. And this is all drip follow-ups and then also reactivation campaigns you might run to your cold follow-ups. And by sending in these campaigns to get approved by the carriers themselves, what will happen is they will recognize it's you sending and you sending the type of campaign you told them about, which will increase your delivery rate, making SMS even more profitable in the future. But compliance, let's be real. Almost no wholesalers love abiding by compliance. I mean, and again, off-market real estate is just the Wild West. But if you want to keep texting your sellers and having high return on investments from sending text messages, then you're going to need to work on this. And from my understanding, to become compliant in text messaging, you must do it by having these people opt in. And there's 2 main ways people can opt in. This is from a conversation, or this is from them clicking a box saying that they would like to opt in to receive text messages. And as a best practice, something that you should do with every single person you talk to is mention that, hey, for better communication so that we can get this done quicker, we would like to be able to have the ability to text you back and forth. Is that okay? And what's going to happen is everyone's going to verbally have a recording of you saying that them saying it's okay for you to text them. And so that if anything does ever come back up, you have something recorded that you can simply show and saying that they opted into text. But anyways, the opt-in and the conversation are the 2 main ways that we can text anyone without any prompt or anything else. We can do cold marketing to them whenever we want. We just have to be able to prove it. And so if for whatever reason your texting doesn't get blocked, the carriers are going to be willing to work with you. And the first thing they're going to ask for is your opt-in process. And so that you can actually present them with the process that has been working in the past, and so you can get reactivated. Now, based on these facts, it sounds like bulk SMS like Launch Control is going to be completely dead. But to be completely honest, platforms like Launch Control and these bulk texting platforms have never once been compliant to 10 DLC standards before. But there's a big difference between being compliant and being illegal. To my knowledge, and again, I'm not an attorney, so this is not legal advice, but texting and real estate wholesaling, texting sellers is not illegal. And so our plan is just to go down with Launch Control. And that sounds pretty dang dumb, but hear me out. Because 2.5 years ago, when they launched and announced all this 10 DLC BS, we figured the same thing. People were saying SMS is dead, SMS is dead. But sticking with it has made us millions and millions of dollars. And so what will probably happen is launch control will maintain strong standing with the carriers themselves. And over the next 12 to 24 months, sending text is going to get significantly harder, where your return on investment might drop from 10x to 5x, but that still makes it an extremely viable marketing channel. And another thing on our side and launch control side is that the carriers don't want us to stop sending messages because that's how they make money. They just don't want any legal trouble. And so that's why they're taking these steps to make texting more compliant so that they have less complaints and there's less potential legal implications. So they're completely fine with letting people mess up as long as they're proving that they're getting better and fixing their problems moving into the future. And as any good operator should, is we should have a backup plan. And here's the things that we're working with our students right now. One, we're planning to all go down with a launch control ship and make millions of dollars. Two, start up or scale your cold calling team using internal cold callers or call centers. And then three, work to diversify into an inbound lead generation channel. And so to summarize, in the short term, pretty much nothing has changed other than the fact that you need to make sure your phone numbers and campaigns are registered and ready to go. All of your follow-up texts are safe inside of your CRM as long as you register your phone number. Launch control is still taken care of. Then just diversify into cold calling or whatever lead channel that you might want to do. Once that's working, add one more so that you have 2 channels total that are working and performing other than SMS. So when SMS goes down, you can easily just move those funds back into these other channels so that you don't even miss a beat.